bye.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt. Hi everyone. I'm going to make a little video today to keep you up to date with what I've been doing for Ezra and research and all that stuff. I've got little Miss here with me. So anyway, an interesting stat that I came across that I found useful is you're constantly hearing, the stats for autism keep changing, that it's, 1 in 100 kids, and then it's 1 in 88 kids, and then it's 1 in 68 kids. Well, the newest one that I came across was 1 in 64 persons have autism or are diagnosed with autism. So that's not just children, that's adults that are also getting diagnosed, later in life. So anyway, found that interesting. And also, if you've heard any of the stats on autism, then you've also heard that the ratio is for boys. Well, sorry, let me think about that. For girls, it's 1 in 4 out of those persons, not necessarily just children, but so boys are 3 times as likely to have autism than girls. Some interesting thoughts with some articles and research and stuff that I came across, and these are just personal thoughts, were that so autism, as far as like a cause, they talk about toxicity, and I think about the toxicity in my life prior to having Ezra. So I was in college when I got the Gardasil vaccination, and there was a lot of conflict about that after after women and young girls started receiving Gardasil vaccination. I don't know all that information, but things like that pop up in my mind. I'm not saying vaccines cause autism. That's not where I'm going with that, but I think of these things that I did when I was younger. For that matter, I think about my tattoos. I've got a lot of work has been done on my back. So, as far as like toxicity and potential heavy metal exposure, I don't know that I lived in any homes that had lead paint growing up, but there's certainly a possibility. We moved a lot. None of them were homes that we owned. We rented a lot. It wasn't until that I was, I think, 10 or 12 that we owned the house that my parents still live in. Let's see what else. Oh, I also think about like the environment that I grew up in Southwest Kansas. As far as like pollution, granted there's not like a lot of traffic, but there's a lot of feed yards around that area. And you want to talk about pollution. Not only cattle yards like that, but also pig farms, which pig farms smell way worse than cattle yards. Anyway, things like that have been coming to mind, like not necessarily just what was Ezra exposed to or has been exposed to, but myself. And, I carried him for 9 months. I built that little boy. And then also just our lifestyle. Everything that I'm coming across is talking about how the gut is related to the brain. And I mean, I know that and I believe it to be true, but our lifestyle is actually really pretty clean in comparison to most. As far as gut health, there's only been like one stint that Ezra had kind of a bad diet, quote unquote. And that's, like the kid has never had McDonald's, or I don't know that he's had any fast food at all. Because that sort of thing was important to me. Also, he was breastfed past the age of 2. Now, you can have your own opinion on that. I don't need you to share it with me. But anyway, he's had a really good diet, minus sugar and carbs. And what I mean by sugar is mostly like the form of honey or fruits. For a little while he did fruit snacks, and I don't know what all was in that, but they were the natural kind. I do call Ezra a carboholic because the kid will go for any sort of like pastry or bread that he can get his hands on. Anyway, however, I would say that his diet is fairly limited. There's only certain things that he likes to eat that I allow him to eat. And by that, I just mean that, like, the kid would eat crappy food all day if I let him. But that's not how we live our lives. So that's not what he gets. He has been dairy-free most of his life, so that's not ever been an issue. And for the most part, he is gluten-free, except for, there's been exceptions whenever family is around or we're celebrating something, or, the situation is just out of our hands. However, that is no longer going to be the case. Mama Bear is coming into full effect, and I'm not going to allow for any exceptions. More that I come across, the more information I come across relating just kind of more behavioral issues to gluten, the more I know that it just doesn't need to be in our diet at all. And I'm the one that is responsible for that, or I'm holding myself responsible to that. And, that's... So to friends and family that think that I'm being extreme, well, I am. So here we are. Basically I'm all in helping Ezra get situated and kind of figuring out his puzzle piece. You want to say hi? Hi. Oh, there we go. Lastly, I was making kind of a correlation to figuring out Ezra's puzzle piece to me being a personal trainer. Clients, say a client comes to me and wants to lose weight. They want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Well, more than likely that's not going to happen. It's going to take some time. It probably took more than 30 days to put the weight on. So, you got to give yourself time and real effort, like real deal effort, in order to make those changes, make habit changes, and to implement, the new things, the new strategies that you're going to need in order to succeed. So, as much as I'm like full force, gung-ho, ready to do this for Ezra, I know that it's going to take some time, and I'm currently in the process of building him the perfect program. Maybe not perfect, but that might have been the wrong word to use. But anyways, building a program appropriate for him. And, you know, we'll make changes and modifications as we need to, just like I would for a client. And that's where I'm going to leave you. And with that little beautiful face. Thanks. One more thing I wanted to tell you about. This week, the biggest improvement that I've seen with Ezra is his interaction with Wynn. Hugging her, kissing her, tickling her, playing with her. Things that he wasn't doing a couple weeks ago. So those are my highlights. And I mean, truthfully, I couldn't ask for a better one. That's on my list of goals for him is greater interaction with his siblings. So I'll take it. Who is that? Who is that? Baby sister, baby sister.